What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Questions with Caleb, the show where we do a deep dive into all the things you want to know more about. Today, we are talking about 3 quick tips on how you can reach more people with the gospel on social media. Now, this would usually be the part of the show where I would throw up the person that asked the question here and the question that they asked. But the thing is, no one's ever asked me this, which is kind of amazing to me because I've had hundreds of people message me or comment on one of my posts about how incredible the work that OTK is doing. And they all say, wow, it's absolutely amazing that you're trying to use this new medium to be able to reach lost people. But no one ever asks how they can do it with their influence. And so you might be wondering, why am I answering a question that no one ever asked? Well, it's because I think you should be asking yourself that question. And that's for 2 main reasons. Number 1, everyone is on social media. You are not going to get everybody into a church. In fact, most people kind of come kicking and screaming and holding on to something as you drag them to a church service. But everybody is going to sit down at the end of the day and scroll through their feed. And this is a moment where they have their guard down and they're willing to digest new ideas and content because that's what social media is. You're reading people's thoughts and opinions on the world around us. And then the other side is the fact that it gives most people that would usually be shy about their faith an opportunity to be able to have a conversation without the same level of anxiety. If you post about how your relationship with Jesus has changed your marriage or your friendships or whatever it is, and an old friend messages you haven't talked to in a long time, and they say, hey, I saw what you said about your faith and how it changed your life. Do you think it could change my life too? Now, in a real world circumstance, you would have to come up with something quickly if you didn't want to look stupid. But in social media, you can take time, read the message, think about what you want to say, type it out, retype it. You can even check out their profile to see if maybe they've gone through something recently that has them asking questions. And you were able to formulate a response that can really explain exactly how you are feeling. And so it kind of brings that anxiety and that worry down. So that's exactly why I want to answer this question and give you 3 quick tips on how to reach people with the gospel using social media. Tip number 1, post wisely and respond with grace. So what do I mean by that? Oftentimes, social media brings out the worst in us. We have a tendency to want to respond to every situation in all caps, angry and frustrated with whatever has now gotten under our skin. And it's easy to do. I am absolutely guilty of it. But what we have to realize is that's a reflection on our faith, on our family, and on our church. And so what I try to do is before I push post or push publish, whatever it is, I try to ask myself if this thought, if this idea, if this quote was attributed to Jesus down the line or Christianity as a whole, am I going to be okay with that? Now, does that mean that you're not ever going to say anything controversial or anything that offends people? No, because truth will do that. You just have to find the right balance of truth and grace. Because if you have all truth and no grace, no one's going to listen. If you have all grace and no truth, the people that are listening are never going to be changed by the things that you are saying. And so you have to make sure you're posting wisely. The other side is responding with grace. I've had a ton of people comment really mean things on my videos or my advertisements. And a lot of Christians expect me to then ban that person or delete that comment. But I think we're going about it all in the wrong way. You see, when somebody says something negative to you, it is an opportunity to present the gospel. And I don't mean by saying, hey, I know you cussed me out, but let me tell you about Jesus. What I mean by that is the fact that people are going to come along later and read the exchange between the angry person and you. And the way that you give that person grace is going to be a reflection on the way that people perceive your religious views, your value, your character, all of these things. And so we have to make sure that when we are dealing with somebody that is difficult, we allow Jesus to shine through no matter how frustrated we might get. Tip number 2, showcase your church. Now, let me be clear, that is not a hashtag Sunday selfie in your brand new dress. That is not a, I just went to church, hashtag blessed. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm referencing is strategically watching for moments of intense relationship, of intense excitement, of intense transformation within your church body that you can share with the world. You know, anytime you go to a concert, you always post pictures and make comments about it on your feed. Why? Because you're excited. You think other people will be excited for you and want to join in with that experience. So it amazes me the number of Christians that are shocked when the world has no interest in going to church with you when you've never once posted about how much you enjoy it or the relationships you're building or whatever it is. You have to show people you're excited, you're plugged in, you're involved long before ever expecting them to be willing to get involved as well. Tip number 3, be authentic and vulnerable. Social media has become an opportunity for people to be their own PR agent, which means most posts end up trying to make you look like the skinniest, the prettiest, the most happily married and in love with Jesus anybody in the world has ever been. So it really sticks out to people when you are raw and authentic about your struggles, about your transformation, about your faith, about whatever it is. They aren't used to somebody actually showing a more vulnerable side of themselves. Most people talk about being courageous on social media as posting a no makeup selfie, right? So it really sticks out when you're like, hey, I used to be addicted to drugs for 15 years of my life, but after I met Jesus, everything has changed. It really makes a big impact. In fact, if you were to ask me over all these years of being involved in media and doing the social stuff, if I had to remember just 2 or 3 posts, I would have a hard time remembering any, but if there was 1 or 2, it would be moments where people told their story of transformation or their story of struggle, overcoming things, or the relationship with Christ and how that changed relationships and all of these things. The lists go on. But I want to encourage you, if you are waiting for a certain opportunity, I know in church culture, we often think that in order to share our story, we need to have all of these studio lights and good mics and sitting in a leather chair with piano music playing, and that's the moment to share your story of transformation. But I want to encourage you, some of the most popular videos on YouTube are shot on like a 720p webcam where just somebody was sharing something random. People care a lot less about the production value of your video and a lot more about how honest you are being and vulnerable you are being with the people listening. And so don't wait until somebody at your church asks you to share their story in a particular setting. Pick up your phone, make a video, make a post, write out a blog, whatever it is, but make sure to share your story because those things can change people's lives. Even if you feel like your story is just ho-hum, the average, whatever, I promise there's something in your story that is going to connect with somebody, and you have an obligation to the kingdom as a whole to do anything and everything you can to reach lost people. Well, that's all that I have for you today, guys. I love you very much. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.